Hello everybody, welcome to another review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the brand new album by The Ghost Inside, Searching for Solace. So this metalcore act has released 6 albums now, and this one is probably going for the softest sound they have done, but also keeping true to their overall sound. And I mean, that's fine, because a lot of bands do kind of vary depending on the heaviness and depending on the softness of each record. As long as the album is good, overall, then I don't think going softer is a weaker step. And I think there's some good writing and ideas that the band have tinkered with this record. But unfortunately for me, I don't think it's quite as good or lives to the hype that I kind of expected from it. The singles have also been interesting because it's made me think that this record was going to be a lot softer than it actually is, and thankfully that's not necessarily the case. It's a softer record, but that's mainly due to the singles being a lot more commercially, having a little bit more of a softer, cleaner vocal palette. Matter of fact, there's probably the most amount of cleans on this record than anything else from the discography, which isn't a bad thing, as I do like cleans and uncleans, especially on band that does mainly uncleans. But I think it's definitely quite noticeable and definitely kind of a shift that is very prominent in tracks like Wash It Away and Breathless. But there's some really good songs still, and it doesn't really matter if the songs are a lot softer than you'd expect, because they can still create some good stuff with it. I just think for me the album isn't really as interesting. I feel like there's some good songs, but some of the other elements kind of fall flat, with some very generic riffs, some alright songwriting. It just kind of comes off as a standard experience when you're listening to metalcore. Like, I don't dislike anything, but there's not really that much that pulls me in either. Like I said, there are some really good stuff, like Breathless is a fantastic track and a great way to end this record. Wrath was something I was enjoying, but did it really have to have that fade out? It just felt like it had an idea, rolled for 3 minutes, and it could have just stopped there, but they ended up just giving it a fade out, which I think here it just didn't really work very well. And there's some other elements as well that just kind of didn't really work. As I mentioned, the riffs just kind of feel a bit uninspired, especially on tracks like Cityscapes, but I do like the song, so you know, you win some, you lose some with it. Some of the singles also, like Earn It, just isn't really appealing to me, or just didn't really catch me. I'd probably say the best singles to me, at least, Death Grip and Split, because Split kind of has a little bit more angry to it. It doesn't really have much softness, but at the same time it does experiment a lot more. Matter of fact, a bunch of the songs on this album play a lot more with djent than I'm normally familiar with the Ghost Inside. But yeah, honestly, to me, this definitely has the most djent influence from what I've listened to. But I mean, again, that's not really a bad thing as long as it works. And like I said, the album I think works for being an album, but for Ghost Inside, it doesn't necessarily work for being a strong album. I'd probably have to say it's one of the weakest. I think compared to, especially their last record, just the self-titled Ghost Inside, which was really good, by the way. This is kind of a step back. I do like the elements they're pushing for, but I feel like while they're going for something that feels a bit more unique in terms of pushing out some good ideas, other elements just kind of get thrown away. So the components that makes a strong Ghost Inside album isn't necessarily there, and they're just kind of branching for different stuff to reach for, basically trying to reach for new ideas, but at the same time they haven't really got a stable ladder just to keep going up to reach those highs. So you kind of got a little bit of a conflicting album from it, but I'd say it's far from a bad experience. I just think it's kind of a letdown, to be honest, with just the variety of the album just not being as intriguing to me. I feel like I just kind of expected the Ghost Inside 2 at this point, but I do appreciate what this album offers, and it is an album I can go back into. Probably one of the better ones in this ranking. I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 5. It's not really like good enough to be good, but I mean, for an alrightly good album, I'd say it's almost there. I just kind of wish the components they took away from this wasn't taken away, because there's definitely some good elements that just make some of the first few songs, especially some of them my favourites on the album. But that's all I have to say. I hope you all enjoy. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.